Good morning. Straight from the road shoulder for our shared humanity. Today is Saturday, the 24th of July. It is day 21 for Team FOSH, and it's a 0 day, a day of recovery. And tomorrow, Sunday, day 22, that is a moving day. So we have the weekend off, at least from walking. Plenty to do otherwise. The boys, Miles and Rob, they are in Jamestown right now at a antique car show, covering that and capturing some footage and capturing the town of Jamestown alive on what they're calling their Buffalo Days. So we're excited to see what kind of content we get from that. I'll be joining them later this afternoon. Right now, I just got back from shopping and I'm going to do a day of prep. All the food prep we need for next week will be ready to go today and tomorrow. But the moving day is tomorrow, and we are going to be headed down south from our Jamestown location to a new location in Aberdeen, South Dakota. And we'll spend about 12 days there to cover the top half, the north half of South Dakota, before we move further south to Lake Andes, where we'll cover the second half, the south half of South Dakota. So we'll be in South Dakota for the next couple of weeks over 2 campsites. But before we leave North Dakota, I thought it would be really appropriate to just share a few thoughts about the 3 weeks that we've spent in North Dakota. Our little RV back there, we're calling her Cece, C-I-C-C-I. She's got us through thick and thin. This is our 3rd campsite here in Jamestown. And we've had just a spectacular time here. Carrie and Jack, the owners of the Jamestown RV campsite, have been outstanding. We had a great conversation with them, and we videoed them and captured some really good conversation around our theme and just in general their life here in North Dakota. So that's been really special. From the time we were in West Hope, where we met Shauna and Jody and Wade and Danette and Leanne and Ben Cartwright, the editor of the West Hope Standard, and Eduardo, the 2 gentlemen that walked with us those first 10 miles. From that point through the 16 towns we walked to all the way to Forbes over the 3 weeks, we just felt like we became more and more like the landscape and part of the home. And it was because the people received us in so many great ways. There are so many stories to tell. And trust me when I say we documented all of them along the way. This daily tracking video, the vlog that I post, this is on my phone with my arm extended, and it's simply to just help you walk step for step with us and see sort of the geography and the tracking of our route. This isn't where we're necessarily going to share a lot of those stories, but trust me when I say we're documenting everything with our professional camera equipment, and Miles and Rob and the rest of the team putting together the story that we'll eventually tell. I do want to share one story, though, before we leave North Dakota. And because I'm posting today for today and tomorrow, 2 days in a row, and I'm generally allowed about 3 minutes, which I've already taken up, I'm going to go 6 minutes today, and I appreciate your patience and hope that you'll enjoy this conversation. This story is just, it's the perfect example of our shared humanity. We met a gentleman by the name of Ken Smith. He's another journalist. He's the editor of the Ellendale Leader. And somebody from Forbes, as we arrived, one of the town merchants, had called the leader, the paper, and told them about us coming to town. And Ken, the editor, he got the story and he joined us. So as I walked into town and I was met by these wonderful town members of Forbes, just a really gracious, warm, hospitable welcome, which really made me feel great as I got to the border, this final town, the 16th town. And that was all because Rob and Miles were able to make some connections and stir up some interest. I sat and I was holding court, sitting in my compression shorts on 2 bags of ice because my hamstrings were on fire, just hot from the heat and the walking. And up walks Ken Smith. And Ken introduces himself. I stand up in my compression shorts and shake his hand. And we have a great chat there as a team and as a group. And it's all about what we're trying to achieve. And he offers a little perspective. And then he says, mind if I join you for lunch? So we walked across the street, and one of the town owners owns the Flying J, where she cooked us a wonderful lunch, and Ken joined us. And he shared additional perspective throughout. And while we were sitting there, another couple walked in. This couple was actually moving from Houston, Texas to Forbes, North Dakota. They had bought some land and they had researched it during the COVID period. They wanted to get away from the busy city and they picked Forbes. And we met them and had a story with them. And Ken was able to share with them. And so we got this little camaraderie going as we were having lunch at the Flying J in Forbes, North Dakota. People that didn't know each other at all before we walked in, and at the end you would have thought that we were all family. The reason I want to tell you the story is Ken met us the next morning at 6 o'clock for sunrise on the state line, and he handed me this manila envelope and just said, hey, I got a little bit of this, something for your reading pleasure. And it was a little hectic and we were getting ready to walk and so forth, so I said thank you and I put it in the car and I was off on my way. And Ken was there to take some pictures and film us as we walked down the state line, right at that gorgeous sunrise that I showed you guys yesterday. And he gave me that little extra pep in my step because I had a journalist there and I knew we were going to get a little bit of coverage and, maybe some more visibility for our simple cause. And we said goodbye. Well, this morning, while having breakfast on my 0 day, I went and let somebody else cook for me, found a small little restaurant called the Cafe Depot here in Jamestown. I started reading the information that was in the manila envelope. Lo and behold, Ken had gone through some 20 editions of his paper over the last 3 years and pulled different editions, and a little sticky note on the top of each edition had page numbers of articles that he thought would tell the great story of this region, this county that we're in. Ellendale's the county seat, and they were about common humanity. He went through and picked the papers out, wrote the sticky notes, typed us a note saying, thank you for our time, called us the Common Ground team. And he didn't have to do that. And he took the time to, and I didn't see it until this morning. So I sent him an appropriate email of thanks, and I will follow back up with him. But I just wanted to share the simplicity of that act, but the power of how it allows us to see inside from a different perspective an area or region in our country that we would have never been able to had Ken not extended his hand in the service and the time and the effort and the collaboration and the research of just sharing our topic. What a simple touch. What a common touch. What a special touch. That's what I want to share with you guys today. Let's do those types of things when we have the opportunity. Let's not be afraid to make that common touch, that special touch, the extra touch that just focuses on what we have in common and the things that we could do together if that's what our main focus was. Thanks again for listening for day 21 and day 22. We'll rejoin you on Monday, day 23, as we continue our trek into South Dakota on the way to Hope, Texas. Peace in your day and gratitude in our heart. Cheers.